Compulsion Games, south of midnight. We're finally getting more information about it. It's everywhere. Some embargo broke today. The previews have been released, and I want to talk about it. What's going on, you guys? Gaming Ad here, coming at you with another video. South of midnight, man. I've been on board with this game since day one, since I first saw it pop up on that June showcase. And, you know, the first thing I want to do is I really want to give a shout out to Compulsion Games. Their glow up is pretty good, man. Pretty good. They went from Contrast to We Happy Few, and now they're working on South of Midnight. Now, even I will admit, I myself have not played a whole lot of Contrast. It was always one of those games that eluded me. But We Happy Few, I played it in its preview stage. I played it in every stage you could think of, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the concept of We Happy Few, and I feel like if they would have had Microsoft's money from the beginning of that span, and they abandoned that survival stuff and just made it about the joy, made it about the story of being in a town that is ran like that, I felt like it had a different result when that game. You know, when it comes to South of Midnight, people really looked at what they played of We Happy Few. Even though some people liked it, I kind of felt like the game and the universe really picked up when the expansions happened, because those kind of focused more on a narrative experience and not necessarily the survival experience. So people was like, they got something to prove. To a lot of people, they had something to prove. To me, I saw the vision with We Happy Few. I felt like they could do something with this. So I was okay with this. And then when I saw the gameplay and how it looked, how the artwork was, I was sold. Now the combat, we'll get to that here in a minute. So the art direction, look, I'm a huge fan of these style types of art. You know, I would say the only time I've ever really pushed back with the art style is like other games that kind of like perceived that they were doing something more serious tone. But South of Midnight's always been very clear on how they were going to handle this. You know, it's got a very nice look to it. And I think it will survive longer than it would initially survive if they had actual, you know, real-time graphics. I don't like saying real-time graphics. You guys know what I mean. Like, just games that look more realistic. This is definitely more cartoony. I will say that when you have games that have this style art, they tend to last longer because, you know, they don't age as quick. So, South of Midnight's clearly a platformer. You know, when we see it, I would say the pillars of South of Midnight would be platforming, combat, storytelling. Do I know which one's higher over the other? Not necessarily. I feel like the story is very, very serious tone in a lot of ways. It's clearly taken place in the South. And for the most part, when it comes to this game in the South, like, it's all about the struggles of the South, you know, what the citizens there are going through. And I can respect that, man. You know, I myself haven't been sold on the story 100%, but from what I'm seeing, it looks like the story's a solid experience. The gameplay, though, man, the gameplay is like a hit and miss with me. I look at it, it looks fun, kind of like a Recore experience. I don't know how many of you guys played Recore. I played Recore. I really enjoyed Recore, especially when like she's using the Weaver and she's like ripping the little weavers out of them. It kind of reminded me of like ripping the cores out of the enemies in Recore. I enjoy what I see in terms of the combat. I think the biggest thing they probably focused more on this game is the platforming. You know, you have double jumping in here. You can wall run. It does feel like it's really captivating and really, you know, putting a spotlight on the platforming. I would say platforming is probably one of the biggest platforming of this game. Look, I've never considered South of Midnight to be like this giant AAA quality experience. I always felt like the game was going to be like a 10 to 12 hour game that was a fun experience to play and to move on to the next game. And that's exactly what I'm getting from the vibes from this game. You know, platformers in particular tend to do well. You look at, you know, Psychonauts 2, that was a Game of the Year contender. You look at Astrobot, that one game of the year. And both of these are platformers. I think that South of Midnight is going to have better platforming sections than those games? Probably not. But I do think that South of Midnight's going to have better story and a better combat than those other games. I didn't even really notice a huge story when it comes to Astrobot. You guys know how those type of games are. I feel like South of Midnight is going to do nothing well, like a perfect, but it's going to do a bunch of things very well. I think the artwork they have chosen looks phenomenal. I think the way that the combat is going is going to be, it's going to be a fun time. Not the best combat in the world that you play, but it's going to be the worst by any means of the stretch of the imagination either. And the platform is going to be fun. We got a lot of games coming out for Xbox this year. And I'm, for one, am happy that, Xbox and Microsoft are giving us more, 10-hour, 15-hour experiences, because not everything needs to be a giant open world. Not everything needs to be that, and I that's the kind of vibes I'm getting from South of Midnight. South of Midnight looks like it's going to be solid impressions. I was editing a bunch of work for IOP, and I'm sitting here looking at this untouched gameplay, and it looks fun. The combat looks unique. The game itself looks unique. I'm going to be honest with you. The game itself looks like a very unique experience, and I'm very curious to see exactly how this game turns out. One thing that I'm really interested in is like the gameplay. How are they going to evolve the gameplay going forward? Hazel is a weaver. She's a brand new weaver, so I'm assuming they're going to open up those type of weapons for you throughout the game, those type of abilities, and I'm just very curious to see exactly how far they take that story. Once again, we see that she's helping these, damaged people, these hurt people. How exactly are they all going to fit to the same narrative, or is she just going to take place like a Supernatural episode or a season, the very first season of Supernatural, where they're helping multiple people along the way? Is there going to be overarching, like, what's what I'm looking for, narrative that all of these lead into, or is it going to be you're just helping people in this game? So I'm very curious when it comes to stuff like that. I'm definitely open-minded. The games always look good to me, but I do have a little bit of questions in terms of how they're going to handle certain things. They haven't really gave me like very high-level gameplay. I haven't really seen that. Maybe they are showing me the high-level gameplay. I don't know. But I think South of Midnight is going to look like a solid experience, especially that art style. I'm a huge fan of that type of cartoony art style. Artsy. I think they love using that word. But I'm interested, man. I'm interested in South of Midnight. I'm interested in see exactly what we're going into it. The game comes out relatively soon, so here in the next couple months you're going to be playing it. I don't know how the performance or anything is. The gameplay that I looked up didn't really see that there was any kind of hiccups. Keep in mind, I was looking at untapped gameplay. It wasn't edited, wasn't anything. It was strictly raw gameplay. And I didn't really see any like performance glitches or anything. And I'm pretty sure they were playing on the Xbox Series X. So I'm kind of curious, man. Compulsion, you guys have always been my underdog with Xbox. I've always felt like you guys had potential. And I am so happy that the amount of praise that South of Midnight is getting in the modern day. Because let's be honest here, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the industry, and sometimes being a developer making games suck, man. You make games knowing people like me are going to criticize it, but right now it's looking good. It's looking good. We'll have to see the actual game. I'm going to review it. We're going to see the actual game when it comes out, but I'm very curious to hear your guys' opinion in the comment section below. South of Midnight is something that you guys are interested in. To me, it's definitely going to be one of those highlights of the year, but I want to keep people's expectations on what kind of experience this is, because in my mind, they've never really pushed this as like that next big thing, like that next Fable, even Avowed to a certain degree. They've never really pushed that. I feel like this is going to be a high quality a high quality AA product that you guys are going to really enjoy for that 10 to 15 hour experience. Nothing more, nothing less. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of games that I love that kind of experience with. But put in the comment section below what you guys feel about that. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It's always appreciated. You can always sub to the channel. We make weekly content on here. We talk about games. We review games. We talk about the industry. We talk about just damn near about everything, man. This is an educational channel, if anything, and the education's my opinion, which is wrong most of the time. But yeah, put in the comments below what you guys feel about that. And until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace. Man, South of Midnight looks fun. I can't wait to get my hands on it.